everything that you want in life, all the things that you're trying to manifest or trying to create, is because you are currently dealing with something in your life that you don't like. So if you're trying to earn a lot of money, it's because you don't like having a little amount of money. If you're trying to be more confident with women, it's because you don't like not having confidence. This goes for almost everything in life that you're trying to create. It's because there's something going on in your life that you don't like, you don't want. And so you're trying to manifest something different. It's very empowering, although this does ruffle a few feathers when I say it. It's very empowering to see that all of these things that we don't like, that we're trying to change, the things that we don't want, we've actually created ourselves, because not having the thing that we want and instead having the thing we don't want is actually safer. It's safer to our nervous systems, it's safer to our unconscious minds. And that, the unconscious and its connection to the nervous system, pretty much dictates 95% of your life. Literally everything, not literally, almost everything is dictated by your unconscious mind. Remember this, your unconscious in every second of the day, literally every second, is constantly inquiring into whether you are safe. And its sole job is to ensure that you remain safe, you maintain safety. And it will do what it needs to do in order for you to avoid danger. And wow, what a powerful tool that we've been gifted with, that's allowed our species to survive for as long as it has, right? So for one, remember that when you hate on yourself for not having the thing that you want, it's because you've got a part that's just trying to protect you. So this part's protecting us, and then we often berate it and wish it was different. But literally all it's doing is protecting us using the knowledge that we've sent it throughout our lives. It's your unconscious mind is different to every single unconscious mind of every person on the planet. So it's not like this unconscious is making up a bunch of stuff to stop you going after what you want. It's literally only working on the information that you've provided it throughout your entire life. Now, for the first few years of your life, you had no control over what was fed into your unconscious. That was done by your environment, by your parents, your teachers, your friends, schools. Everything else was put into your unconscious mind. So many of our limiting beliefs have been stored there. I mean, it's too big a thing to talk about on a YouTube channel. It's massive. I mean, every time that you triggered your parents and that created a reaction in them, that reaction in them closed their heart on some level because you caused stress within their nervous system, and that felt very scary to a young child. Your unconscious learned not to trigger people around you, because that can cause a lot of very uncomfortable feelings. This is where people pleasing and approval seeking behaviours start to form. Maybe at school you put your hand up in class and you ask a question that the teacher thought was silly, or the other kids did, and you got bullied and the other kids laughed at you. That felt fucking horrible, right? You don't want to experience that again. So that's what your unconscious mind ensures that you don't do. So when you're in a situation where you want to speak up and maybe ask a question or speak your truth, your unconscious is going to stop you from doing that by sending out signals of whatever, stress, cortisol, adrenaline, fear, apathy and depression, to just stop you doing it, because it doesn't want to experience that pain again. Maybe you were just a little boy and you fancied one of the girls at school, and you eventually got round to telling her, and you did so with an open heart, and you were just totally honest and vulnerable about how you felt. She was like, ugh, get away from me, and that felt horrible. So now when you see a girl that you like, you can't go approach her with the authenticity and the realness. Instead, you have to give her something that's not real in order to protect your heart, because you don't want to feel that pain again. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. When you were a little kid, when you were loud, when you were big energetically and you stepped into your power, how did that affect your environment? Maybe your parents were a little busy and a little stressed out. Maybe you were in a restaurant and you stepped into your power, and that created a lot of discomfort in your parents, or even in the dinner party guests around you, and that required your parents to punish that part of you, tell you that you're being big and loud and silly. Maybe all parents have different styles in which to ensure that you don't embody a certain archetype or behavior, right? And that parental style almost always is done to make the child feel bad. So when we were younger, when we were well behaved, we were told we were good, and we got praised, and we got attention, and we got gifts or sweets or whatever it was, right? And then when we were bad, we were made to feel bad in order to not adopt bad behaviors. But often being bad wasn't actually being bad, it was just being real and authentic and energetically big. And now you want to step out into the world and start creating the future for yourself, but you don't, and you don't know why. Like, why is it I'm not able to create the life that I really want to create? Why can't I make the money I want to make? Why can't I approach that beautiful woman and just be fucking real with her? It's because of your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind stopping you. It's connected to your body. Your unconscious and your body are one. And it sends out the signals that stops you going after what you want in life. And often those signals are just depression and apathy, procrastination, all of these things that keep us stuck and at home and on our screens and eating crap food and taking drugs and smoking cigarettes and looking at porn. All of those things, this is so important, all of those things are taking away your beautiful attention. The attention we have as men, the more refined and sharp our attention is, the more masculine energy we embody as men, the more we're able to step out and carve out the sort of future we want to create, because we're focused on an end goal and we're not allowing lust and desire and the outside world to tempt us back into pleasures and short-term gratification. So in order to create the life you want, you need to find the frequency of that first. Now, I know it sounds a bit woo-woo, but we are energy. The world is everything's energy. Science has confirmed that. You think everything's energy, and you're not. You have energy within you. You can experience energy through different emotional states. If you imagine yourself in a state of shame, you'll notice that has a very heavy frequency compared to experiencing the emotion of, let's say, anger, right? And then there's hundreds of different emotional states that we have access to, and each one is determining literally how happy we feel. Our happiness levels are linked to how open our heart is, and as we climb up the levels of emotion, our hearts start to open more and more until we get to levels of love and unconditional love and peace, and that's when our heart can really open wide. And literally our emotional state is determining how happy we are. The reason why you want to do all the things you want to do is in order to try and be more happy, and therefore open your heart a little bit more. But your unconscious mind doesn't want you to step out and do all those things. It would rather keep you at home and keep you safe where you can't get hurt. So it makes sense that if you want to be more confident with women, that you don't become more confident with women, because that's how you're going to start experiencing rejection. So you create the situation you're in unconsciously where you don't approach them or go and say hello in order to protect yourself. You don't create that online business, go after whatever it is you want to do, go after your passion, your creative expression, because maybe your creative expression got ridiculed when you were younger. Maybe you were told it just wasn't something that it wasn't a good thing. You were being silly. Get real, get with the real world. Stop being so imaginative. All of these things are really damaging us as kids, but also as adults, and we carry all of it. We carry everything. So if you want to have a more sharp attention, and it's not just about doing it to become more masculine. The masculinity in us men naturally rises up, and we naturally embody it as we release the fears that are keeping us stuck and keeping us distracted. So if you imagine the reality that you want to create, it has to come from you, as within, so without. So you need to find, when I say the frequency, you want to get to understand and feel how it feels to be living that life now. And the best way I know how to do that is by journaling as if you're already living in that reality. Guys, this is a really powerful tool. It's really powerful. You just set aside however much time. If you're procrastinating on things like this, just set 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Put your phone away, set 5 minutes, and you can do longer if you want. And you just imagine that you're living the life you want. And you're writing a diary or a journal about your life as you're living it. So you're writing about it in the now. You're not saying, I want this, I want that, because you're just going to get more of that, right? You're just going to get more I wanting. Yeah, you say, I want something, the universe is like, okay, sure, have that. Now you're just wanting more. You're writing like, today I had an amazing day. I checked my bank account and noticed I had earned $5,000 overnight through whatever products you think you might be putting out online. You talk about what you did with the money. Maybe you went to a nice restaurant, maybe you were hanging out with your girlfriend. I mean, it's just, you can really allow your imagination to run wild with this. And you talk about maybe the house, you're waking up in the Egyptian cotton sheets and the sun is coming in through the open window and warming you, and the chickens are outside laying the eggs where you cook up your beautiful breakfast in the morning. I mean, you really go to town, and you'll start experiencing what it will be like to have that reality, to have that life. That's the feeling you want to maintain. When you find that frequency, you find that feeling state, you want to be able to maintain that for as much time as you can throughout the day without being distracted. The better, the more refined your attention is, the more you can do that. You can find that feeling, that frequency when you're in the present moment, right? So when you're present and you're not caught up in your mind and the thinking and the wanting and the seeking for the next hit of dopamine, and when you're not actually doing those things, when you're not on your phone, you can be sitting back and enjoying that feeling. And that is what will, literally by doing that, by living in that reality, you're going to start getting signs and intuitive ideas in which you can do, that's going to be breadcrumbs taking you towards that reality. Now, if you're sitting there in apathy, then it's going to be, when I say apathy, I just mean procrastination. It's going to be quite difficult to receive the signals that you need to receive. But when you're feeling that reality is changing so much, it just changes so much. It's changing your identity, and it changes how you see yourself. And from that, you will get ideas, you will get images and thoughts and intuitive nudges to do this, do that, turn left instead of right, speak to this person. You'll come up with ideas for anything, for books, for artwork, for music, whatever it is. And all of these things are literally taking you towards that reality that you want to create. Your job is to not ignore them and push them away. Your job is to actually receive that guidance and then act on it. But most people don't act on it because they're afraid of it. They're afraid of the failure, they're afraid of the success, they're afraid of so much. So you can see how your fear is keeping you from so much. The fear is preventing you from stepping forward. But if you had a more refined attention, if you could focus on that feeling state for longer periods throughout the day, you can do that with meditation, you can do that when you're relaxing. I mean, you think of how many hours you spend on your phone, right? Imagine if you just cut that by half and spent half of that time just feeling into that energy and writing from it, how good it's going to feel. And you want to get to the point where you're not bothered if you create that reality because you're already experiencing how it feels to live that from within. And then you just wait for reality to catch up with you. I mean, it's a very wild process, and you know, there's been some times in my life in the last month that I've allowed depression to sort of catch up with me now and again, and I would look at the current where I'm at in life and how it's not really where I wanted to be. And then I look at the bigger picture and I see that where I'm at now, I'm actually on the path to what I've always been wanting to do for so many years. That finally, as soon as I started taking action, aligned action from the feeling of having the thing that I want, things start shifting around me, and it's like, whoa, it almost feels like I'm creating the world around me as I step towards creating this life that I've been wanting to create for so many years. You can do it, guys. I think you maybe don't realize how close you are to creating the life that you truly want. Everything is at your doorstep. You've got to just take that step out. You got to let yourself get rejected. You got to let people have their own opinion of you. Almost certainly the thing that's holding you back is, well, one of the things is your fear of what other people think of you, your conscious or unconscious need to manage the emotions of other people. If you're people pleasing, if you're afraid of what other people think, you're trying to manage their emotions. Because if they think a certain way about you, it means that they're feeling a certain way, they have certain emotions towards you, that makes you uncomfortable. So you change who you are and you stop yourself going after what you want, because that's managing the emotions of people around you. You don't want to trigger other people, so you keep yourself small and hidden. You have the ability just to step out. Right now you can just start. And every time that you get knocked down, you can just pick yourself back up. You let yourself feel the pain, and then you just keep walking. Think about when you were a baby or when you were a toddler and you started learning how to walk. Think how many times you fell down and hurt yourself and messed up. You never gave up. Sure, you might have got annoyed and you've experienced grief and apathy and anger and all of these different emotions, but you felt it and then you got back up and you tried it again, and you kept doing that until eventually you walked. How powerful is that? You can apply that to your current life situation. It's just that as adults we tend to beat ourselves up a lot. Child doesn't do that. It just goes into the emotion, feels it, it naturally dissipates because it's felt the energy of that emotion, and now it continues. And you've done that for so much of your life. So don't say that you can't do it now. Say that you can. I can do it. Repeat that as you walk throughout your life. I can do this. I am capable of creating my dream life. I am creating my dream life. This is beautiful work, guys. You're doing great. If you want to work one-on-one, message me directly. I'll put a link in the comments. Please do subscribe. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.